Good day everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to plan a long distance bicycle touring trip. My partner and I have just come back from a 3,500 trip around Europe, and I'm going to show you how we did it. Now in this video I'm going to talk to you about cash, routes, time, equipment, phones and security. Now, I just want to take a second out from the video just to talk about my Patreon channel. The link is on the screen here, and I'll provide links in the description. Now, becoming one of my patrons is really easy and it's really cheap, less than a cup of coffee a month. Now, becoming a patron will give you access to really exclusive content, such as routes, ebooks, ad-free videos, video content that's not available on YouTube, and many more things. Patreon helps me build the channel. It helps me in so many ways. So it would really be appreciated if you could take the time and become one of my patrons. However, not to worry, becoming one of my patrons is not for you. It would do me a great honor if you could just subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. And in addition, hit the like button on this video. That would mean just as much to me. Now, thanks for watching, and we'll get back to the video. Now, in the beginning, this was the route that we were planning on taking. This is using an app called Relive. The links will be in the description. We were going to fly into Lyon, travel up from Lyon to Dijon, head onto the EV6 from Dijon, across France, Switzerland, into Germany, until we got to Passau. Now, Passau is the start of the Danube River. We're going to head down the Danube River, Linz, Vienna, Bratislava, all the way to Budapest. At Budapest, a few days there, and then head west into Slovenia for an overnight stop in Ljubljana. From Ljubljana, head west again to Trieste in Italy. Trieste in Italy via Venice, across the northern part of Italy towards Genoa, where we would pick up the Italian Riviera, south of France, into Toulon, Marseille, Provence, Avignon, and then back to Lyon, and all up a big loop of, there you go, 4,038 kilometers. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, cash. What we did with cash was we got a travel card, which was basically a Qantas travel card. And we worked out that we would probably want to spend about 150 euros a day, times that by 42, which was the amount of days that we were away, which equated to about 6,300 euros. And then basically over the year of this planning, we basically paid money straight to this card in euros. Now, doing it this way meant that we didn't need to worry about any sort of exchange rates. We could just go to a cash machine and draw out cash as required. Now, just as a warning, some places in Europe don't take cards, so it is an idea to carry some cash with you. We would probably have about 150 euros in cash on us. Now, in my Patreon, I do have some extensive information and extra videos on exactly how we saved a Google Sheet spreadsheet, and also some advanced tips on how we save money on our flights, etc. Now, route planning goes hand in hand with time. but I'll just run through quickly how I plan my routes. Now, I used Ride with GPS. Links to all this sort of stuff is going to be in the description. I used Ride with GPS, planned out the route roughly, and then tied it down further to make sure that I took in proper bike paths and I didn't end up on main roads, etc. Now, just with experience, over the years, I've kind of sussed out that my pace generally can be between about 15 to 20 k's an hour. Now, I'm not the sort of person that likes to just bang out 100 k's in a day. I like to get somewhere, I like to enjoy the trip and also get somewhere at a reasonable time so that you can actually explore that location when you get there. So overall, we planned a day of being about 40 to 60 k's, which allowed us to enjoy the trip and also enjoy the location when we got there. Now, the actual navigation of our trip on a day-to-day basis was done on my Garmin Edge 1030, and I got the maps from the Open MBT website. I do have videos in my channel about using this facility, and I'll link to them in the top right corner. Now, also, I had a plan B, and in Ride with GPS, I've mapped out all the campsites that were either side of the distance that we wanted to travel on that particular day, just in case something happened and we needed to either go further or cut our day short. Again, in my Patreon, I have all the GPX files for all the days that we did on the entire trip, and also there's ebooks as well with certain ebooks for the 3 sections. Planning is essential for a successful trip, but for me it is all part of the adventure. Now, the next thing is time goes hand in hand with route planning. As I said, we worked out we wanted to do about 40 to 60 k's a day, and we had a loop of about 4,000 kilometers. Now, we worked out pretty quickly that we would probably need to get some public transport in that to go everywhere that we wanted to go. So which is what we did. Now, I'll explain that in the next video. I'll also add some information on putting your bike on a train in European countries, which can be pretty handy. Now, let's move on to equipment. Now, equipment's this big catch-22. We were away 6 weeks, so we wanted to be able to take, clothes, nice clothes to be able to go out for dinner and such like, although we didn't want to take too many clothes to weigh ourselves down. And the same with camping equipment. Some places we were going to camp and some places we were going to be in hotels. Now, to help with the planning of equipment, I use an app on my phone called Color Note, and again I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll show you an example of the notes that we used to decide what equipment to take. Again, I'll do another video on the equipment that we took. But basically, we used panniers. I used Ortlieb panniers, and on the other bike, I had a couple of Altura panniers and a couple of Rock Brothers panniers. We had panniers front and back. Camping equipment. Now, camping equipment, we had a Nemo Aurora 2-person tent. Jet boil for cooking, and 2 Kathmandu air mattresses for sleeping on. Again, I will do another video with regards to equipment because this can be just a video in itself. Now, phones. Phones can also be tied into safety and security. We wanted basically to be able to use our phones as if we were in Australia. So to this end, we brought 2 orange travel SIMs. These basically gave us phone and internet coverage pretty much 100% of the time. Now this goes on hand in hand with security, which I'll move on to later with regards to the safety of our money. The orange travel was perfect, and I will leave again a link to where I purchased them from in the description. Now, security. Now we're pretty I'm pretty aware of a lot of the security sort of issues, i.e. pickpockets and scammers in and around Europe. So prior to leaving, we actually researched a fair bit, watched quite a few YouTube videos, and I made myself as knowledgeable as possible about the risks associated with certain locations in and around Europe. Now, to this end, we basically put air tags on each of the bikes. We purchased decent chains for the bikes, and also as well, it goes hand in hand with the phones. Now, what we did with our travel money card was the card was actually locked pretty much all the time that we weren't using it. So if we went into a shop and we wanted to use the card, we would unlock the card first, go in, purchase our groceries or whatever we were going to buy, come out again, and using the internet, we would relock the card. So if that card did get stolen, then a thief, a would-be thief, wouldn't be able to use it or get the money off of it. Public transport hubs were the highest risk out of all the places, and for some reason train stations and bus stations seem to attract these people. We generally tried to avoid contact with anyone. Obviously we had our bikes, so we were pretty conspicuous. You could see we were tourists. We tried to place ourselves in areas that weren't busy. We never left our bikes unattended at all, ever, even when they were chained. So even if one of us was going into a shop, we would actually just chain the bikes just in case an opportunist nicked one of the bikes whilst the other person was watching it. So my advice to anyone is just be aware, research the risks, research the type of scams, and try your hardest not to get caught or scammed or pickpocketed. It's not 100%, but if you can do what you can, then you hopefully won't get caught. Now that concludes this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. If you have, then please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.